So I like to do this for every movie, every new release. I like to go through the Rotten Tomato scores of both critics and fans to kind of see if there's a difference in opinion, if there's the same opinion, what people are saying about it, and just kind of go and through it. Now, I think this opened up like a long time ago, like maybe a month back, where critics had reviews of Joker 2. But since the movie has come to release out to the public as of today, October 4th, or I guess yesterday, October 3rd, it's now fallen down to a 34% from critics based off of 215 reviews. Now, I think at a point it was like 45%, 50%, but those numbers I'm not exactly sure. I think I did a video about that, talking about that. Now, let's go over to the 1,000 plus verified rating for the fans, and they give this a 36%. So fans and critics are pretty much giving it the same thing. Fans giving it a 36% and critics giving it a 34%. They're about equal in the negative scale of this movie. So we're going to go through reviews of the fans and just what the overall thoughts of this movie is. Now, disclaimer, I haven't seen the movie yet, but I am going to see it. I almost want to see this just because I'm seeing so many negative reviews about this movie. I want to kind of see what went wrong with the whole film process. But without further ado, let's get into the video. We're going to be seeing a mix of both good and bad ones. There are good ones, believe it or not. 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. That means some people did like it. But let's get in. Visuals are the only thing worth the stars. Story goes nowhere and makes the first movie completely irrelevant. Missed opportunity. I waited to see something better than the first movie, and then they turned it into a bad musical. So disappointed. They did the same thing with the Beetlejuice sequel. I walked out of both movies. Bad storylines, bad scripts, bad musicals. I don't know what they're doing with movies nowadays. Go back to the drawing board, folks. It might not be what people are expecting, which will negatively impact the movie's score, but it does exactly what it sets out to do. Much like the first, it's a study on mental health. There's just not as much drama or excitement or bloodshed for some audiences, but the message is very well delivered. Great character development, and both films work well as a story of a very troubled individual. Now, that was a 4-star review, so we're going to see good reviews too, but let's keep going. If you look at the reviews thinking it can't be that bad, it actually is. I'm a victim of it. In all caps, biggest disappointment ever. Now we're back to having a bad taste of recent Joker, but definitely the worst Joker film yet. Wanted to see this after seeing and loving the last film. Was really disappointed. Should be renamed The Lady Gaga Show. Who in their right mind decided this would make a good musical? Ruined what could easily have been a fantastic film. You're gonna see in a lot of these reviews, the musical element is a big thing for fans that they did not like. Incredible. Not really a musical and not a rehash of the first film. Like nothing I've seen before, and another amazing performance from Phoenix, as well as a superb performance from Gaga. The music and songs were really well done, and the story as a whole worked as a study of Fleck Joker as the justice system tried to establish whether Fleck is insane and whether Joker actually exists. I actually kind of like that review. I mean, that's like a really cool, I guess, plot outline. Does the Joker actually exist? And we're going to see more reviews like that are talking about this. I can't really express the disappointment I felt after watching this trash. It's the worst 138 minutes I've ever had to endure. And keep in mind, I loved the first Joker, Joaquin Phoenix's performance, and I like Lady Gaga. This movie, very, very, very bad. A complete waste of time. It's a terrible hybrid between a musical and a courtroom drama, and it fails miserably at both. The pacing is slow, and while the soundtrack is excellent, versions of the songs, they are dull and boring. The only thing, as expected, is Joaquin's acting, and even that feels like he's just repeating the same performance from Joker. This is the first time I've written a review, simply because I'm so furious about wasting 138 minutes, plus the cost of the cinema ticket, on something so awful. My only advice, wait until it comes to streaming so you can change the channel after the first few minutes. Ouch. Huge letdown. They put her in it and it turned into a rubbish musical all about her bursting into song every 2 minutes. They completely ruined this one. Joker fans wanted to see Joker, not a crappy Lady Gaga concert. This was a horrible film. The film fell way below expectations, especially when Penguin series is so good and the new Batman is coming soon. I just thought this film would be a masterpiece after how the last one ended and the addition of Harley Quinn. Boy, was I wrong. We want to see Joker, not a romantic musical. Now, the musical element, as we're seeing in all these reviews, it's a big letdown, especially some people seem like they just didn't like Lady Gaga on this, and they just wanted to be an Arthur Fleck kind of Joker central story, which is what we got in the first one. And you could argue that's what made it so good, was it was a solo story about this character, and maybe the addition of Lady Gaga was just not right. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it could be an interesting one and a different take on certain things. Wasn't expecting a musical. I think they did a great job with acting. Wasn't a fan of the musical fashion every 5 minutes or less. Not a fan of the ending. Overall, I think they could have done a much better job, but I'm not a director. I'm sure the film will make a lot of money. It's not what I was expecting and will ensure I read more reviews prior to going to any more of these films. Joker 1 set a high bar that Joker 2 didn't even try to reach. Lightning simply does not catch itself in a jar. One needs to work the magic. You get what you freaking deserve. Good callback to Joker 1. A total letdown despite having 3 times more budget. What went wrong? Well, for starters, the storytelling fell flat. Comic book fans are used to lapping up gripping tales, even if they're printed on flimsy paper. If the story is good, we'll be there and get away with anything if it's well written. But here, the narrative seemed to have taken a back seat, letting the whole show down. Joaquin Phoenix's performance was top notch, no doubt. He dove headfirst into this character, but even he couldn't rescue the sinking ship. One would expect a film aimed at comic book fans to prioritize the narrative, the crux of the great story. Nope, it felt like the whole plot was written to just fit Lady Gaga, leaving us with a jumbled, messy story. It's as if they were more concerned about setting the stage for a starring Gaga than making a movie that would appeal to comic fans. Cinematography is good. It almost makes the whole thing bearable if you just watch it on mute. But overall, Joker 2 felt like a long, uncomfortable, and aimless journey, one that left us feeling pretty underwhelmed. I went home and watched The Penguin, just to convince my brain this never happened. By far the worst experience with a comic book inspired movie, unfortunately, with my favorite character. Sad. Not at all what we thought was going to be. A lot of respect for some of the music both main characters are well known for. Let's get some good ones in now, though. I'm not sure why the reviews have been so bad for this movie. I just got back and I loved it. It was better than the original and stayed very true to the spirit of the first film. The music was good, shots were beautiful, Phoenix and Gaga were great together. Go see it. Incredible movie that lingers on the mind long after the credits roll. The Joker is given every opportunity to step into the role the movie-going audience wants him to. But in the end, he is just a man named Arthur Fleck. The disappointment in this letdown for sure, but a brilliant one that makes you examine why. Why do I want this broken human turned into a monster and enact revenge on those that hurt him? Why am I disappointed that he doesn't take the ample opportunities to become the evil villain? Why do I want this? This is brilliant filmmaking. I loved every bit of the film. Everyone's so mad at the idea of it being a musical, but it worked perfectly for me. Gaga stole the show. Joaquin was brilliant. I really wanted to love this sequel. I went to see it today with the intention to prove all the negative reviews of it being wrong and biased, but it was just too bad. Horrible. It felt literally like they were so desperate to cash in on the previous one and force this into existence in the most pretentious and pointless way that could. The sadder thing is that everyone in it gave amazing performances, but it was all lost on pointless musicals and dumb ending pretending to be smart and realistic when it's nothing short of ... well forced as pretend. I now can't stand even rewatching the first one. 2 out of 10. It's a work of art. I felt the movie personifies the failures of society to help itself via the persona of the Joker. This is definitely an emotive shift in the storytelling of our favorite villains and superheroes, where the focus is on the stories and lives of these people. I wager this movie will become a cult classic in a few years. The world isn't ready for it yet. I suppose the musical elements could be tamed a bit, but I can see why those parts made sense to build the tension. Maybe this is a hot take. Maybe in a few years we're gonna love it. I don't know. We gotta wait. Maybe we'll revisit it in a couple of years. The movie is bad, not because it's a musical, but because it has a bad story. Arthur is not the same character from the first movie. He's kind of regretting what he did. The problem is that he has every reason to go back to the character from the first movie. He has every reason, crazy and criminal, man, but he doesn't go back. I really like this. 2 stars. The Joker 2, a movie review. Joker 2, also known as shared psychosis or shared delusional disorder, SDD, is a psychiatric syndrome in which symptoms of a delusional belief are transmitted from one individual to another. The original Joker movie, released in 2019, grossed more than $1 billion in global ticket sales. The return of Arthur Fleck and his dual personality character of the Joker was inevitable. The addition of Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn adds a new dimension of reality to the world of mental challenges. The question will become, are the mental derangements of 2 talented actors with the addition of musical elements a positive or negative contribution to the original Joker storyline? The answer to that question is, how does one write about insanity posing as a Broadway musical? The reality is that one cannot. The attempt to project mental anguish with a clown-faced actor, Philip, and a mentally challenged female follower, Gaga as entertainment is a leap too far. It is difficult, if not impossible, to ask an audience to see the emaciated body of Joaquin Phillips in the opening scene of the movie become a clown face song and dance performer in a next scene. The continuing on-screen transformation of mental destruction to a brightly lit stage of a song and dance routine defies explanation or comparison. The intent of the movie may be best revealed in watching the opening sequences and the closing scenes of the movie. It is only here that the audience may be exposed to the harsh realities of mental health and the attempt to present these realities in the brutal and uncomfortable images they are. Now, there's just more bad reviews than good reviews. I going through these, it seems like the musical element was forced almost like because Lady Gaga was in this movie and we don't really stay true to the Joker's roots in the first movie, which, hard to really describe. But it seems like they dive into important elements of if the Joker is real or not. And it also gives some of the best performances from the people involved in these movies, people are saying. So, I mean, I'm going in with an open mind, but, just seeing all these reviews and especially the reviews that are saying that the ending really ruins the entire movie, I don't know what I'm going to think of it. You let me know down below. Are you going to see Joker 2? And if you have seen Joker 2, what did you think of it?